How's our financial plan coming?
Super! Chris, any advice?
With Western and Southern, preparing for your financial future can be easier than you think. Favorite receiver?
Huh?
To get started, visit westernsouthern.com.
Welcome into PFF Studios. I'm Austin Gayle with Mike Renner. We are going to be talking about the 2020 NFL Draft, looking at the pass rushers, specifically edge defenders. We want to preview this class, all presented by our friends at Western and Southern. And I want to start with the top of the class, Chase Young, A.J. Epinesa of Iowa, but there's also some other names too in that class.
Yeah, Chase Young, the clear number one in this class. He's going to be, in my opinion, the first non-quarterback taken in the 2020 draft. You can just lock that in. You can write that in stone right now. He is that good. The best pass rushing prospect we've seen in our 6 years of doing this. A.J. Epinesa, though, not too far behind the Iowa defensive end. He is a monster. 6'6", 280 length. We saw him this past 2 weeks against Minnesota and Wisconsin. He was just unblockable in one-on-one type situations. But there's a couple other guys who have also been unblockable when they get their one-on-ones. Curtis Weaver of Boise State, gonna finish the season at Boise State with one of the highest win percentages we've ever seen as a pass rusher, the second highest graded pass rusher in the country after Chase Young. He has just been unblockable there in Boise State in the Mountain West Conference. And has done against some good competition too when he faced, Florida State early on this year. And the other guy that I want to keep an eye on is, season's already over here, Julian Nakawara, the edge defender from Notre Dame. He's going to test out like a freak athletically at the combine. 6'5", 240, one of the best bull rushers in the country though at that size, which is rare for an undersized edge defender. I think all those guys have a very good shot of being first-round picks when it's all said and done.
A couple things there. Chase Young, an absolute freak. And Epinesa, these past 2 weeks, like you said, Wisconsin and Minnesota, dude has been unblockable. And Curtis Weaver. I do love Curtis Weaver. He's a group of 5 prospect, plays for Boise State, and I love his versatility. Specifically, he works from the interior and edge defender, is able to win from both positions. Yeah. I really do like Curtis Weaver a lot. Let's go to this next little class here. Someone with potential, but only okay production, still looking for more pressure totals and bigger pass rush win percentages. Talk to me about this group of guys.
Yeah, Yetur Gross-Matos has the sort of freakish athletic ability that a Chase Young, that a A.J. Epinesa has, where you can't teach a guy to be 6'5", with crazy length, that can move and burst off the ball the way he does, but I think he's still figuring it out as a pass rusher. 2018 had 25 pressures, already 32 on the year. He's taken that sort of step forward as a junior, but only an 80.7 pass rushing grade. That's middling for us. That's still, we want to see more than that. You see guys in that top tier, the 4 guys we mentioned before, all have pass rushing grades around the 90-plus mark. That's sort of the benchmark for us for the first round. So we love the tools. We love that he's improving year on year, but I think they're still leaving us wanting a little more in terms of game-to-game consistency.
And with Yetur Gross-Matos, in addition to that, I would put another person in that group, another player in that group, Carlos Bassam Jr., a guy with a ton of potential, great size. I like his athleticism, but still lacks polish as a pass rusher and therefore lacking the production.
Yeah, really doesn't have a ton of moves. And he's 6'5", 275, but does not move like that. Very similar to A.J. Epinesa in that you can't teach a guy to burst off the line of scrimmage at that size, and he gets a ton of play out of his bull rush, but when you see him go up against a tackle who can actually match him, step for step and actually hold up against that bull rush, he doesn't really have any other counter. He doesn't have another way to necessarily win at that point. So that's concerning to us. You need to have multiple ways to win once you get to the NFL. The Wake Forest edge defender doesn't quite at this point, but again, 6'5", 275, that can burst the way he does. You hope he can figure it out at some point.
Let's go to this next tier, the risers. And a name I want to start with is Utah edge defender Bradley Anae, a technician off the edge, but lacks that athleticism that you're looking for, lacks that elite burst at the snap. But the production is pretty good for him, and from a technique standpoint, a hand standpoint, this guy's one of the best.
Yeah, he's right up there with Chase Young in terms of the best technicians in the country, in terms of just they use their hands, they know they don't decide the pass rushing moves they're going to use until they see what the offensive tackle gives them. That's, a rare thing. That's a rare step and a rare leap for those edge defenders to make. Anae is already doing that. He has a 90.5 pass rushing grade. He has whooped up on tackles who will be drafted highly in Trey Adams from Washington, in Austin Jackson from USC. He has beaten up those guys. He's played against top-tier competition and won. So those are things you like to see. Doesn't have the athletic profile of some of the other guys at the top of this class, but I think his production now, 55 pressures last year, 51 already this season. You'd love to see it, and that's why he's rising up our board.
All right, and two other names that stand out in this riser tier is Terrell Lewis of Alabama and Josh Uche of Michigan. Two names that I think not a lot of people know about right now, but I think both of these guys have an opportunity to go high in the draft.
Yeah, Terrell Lewis just needed to be healthy. I mean, had that ACL injury a year ago, missed all of 2018, comes back this year. He has the size, 6'5", 250, has the burst, has the length, has a lot of things you like, and now he's starting to produce, can bull rush at that size, which again, we love guys who can bull rush, and also he can win to the outside. So he is producing elite 90-plus pass rushing grade, again, that sort of benchmark for production that we like to see here at PFF. So he's really moving up our board steadily after, not having a ton of snaps heading into this season.
How about Uche? Talk to me about Uche.
And Uche is a little different in terms of he's undersized. He doesn't necessarily win with the bull rush, but he is super quick. I mean, he had some reps even in the Iowa game against Alaric Jackson, where Alaric Jackson's not even touching him. And that's Alaric Jackson, a guy, a tackle who's going to be drafted in the NFL. When you're beating tackles like that and they're not even touching you, you start to turn heads in terms of you might be a special level athlete that you can win at that, as an undersized edge defender. And another guy who just didn't have a ton of snaps heading this year. He was behind Chase Winovich. He was behind Rashawn Gary, too, highly drafted guys in the NFL in their own right. So he is producing at a very high level as well. And again, a pass rushing grade over 90 this year and has beaten some good tackles. So those are things you like to see and that we like to see projecting forward to the NFL.
Two names in this next tier with kind of production concerns is kind of how we're titling this one. Jabari Zuniga of Florida and then also Clavon Chaisson of LSU. These guys pop off the tape from an athleticism standpoint. I know Zuniga was, a lot of people pouring praise on him. I think he made Bruce Feldman's freaks list, but production concerns for both.
Yeah, Zuniga, just the splits for him when he goes up against non-SEC teams or just, FCS teams or low-level FBS teams versus SEC tackles, legit competition is super concerning. You look at his even grading profile this year, 81.5 pass rushing grade against Miami, and that, the freshman tackle who was maybe a tight end in high school and then switched to tackle.
Future Uber driver, probably.
93.3 pass rushing grade against Tennessee Martin, and then didn't earn a pass rushing grade in any of his other 3 games over 62. He just has not necessarily produced, and that's been the story of him throughout his career once he faces better competition. So freak athletically, but disappears against better competition. And then Clavon Chaisson, he has some very impressive reps on tape. Go back to the Texas game against Samuel Cosme, the left tackle there, a guy we like a lot. He bull rushed him right in Sam Ehlinger's lap a handful of times. Not a lot of other guys in the country have done that to Cosme over the course of his career. He did it, but we just haven't seen it on a large sample size at this point. 15 pressures this year, 31 for his entire career. He just hasn't necessarily gotten after the passer consistently. So has the athletic profile, has some high-level reps, but we love to see consistency if we're going to take you high in the draft.
All right, last tier on this list here, the sleepers. 2 small school products. Let's go with Charlotte's Alex Highsmith and Temple product. Temple tough. He's got that single-digit number. Quincy Roche off the edge. Both of these guys sleepers, probably not high picks, maybe not even day 2, but both of these guys sleeper prospects with good production.
Yeah, Quincy Roche may come back to school. He has another year of eligibility, but he has the 3rd highest pass rushing grade of anyone in the country right now. 93.2 pass rushing grade, 59 pressures already, has had double-digit pressures in some games already this season. He is just a little undersized at 6'4", 235, but insanely quick off the ball, uses his hands really well. And then Alex Highsmith, he is a senior. He will be in the draft. He was a walk-on at Charlotte there for them, which that's not like walking on to Alabama. That is, if you can't get a scholarship at Charlotte, you probably weren't that great coming out of high school, but he has produced 90.1 pass rushing grade this season, had 43 pressures last year, already 34 this year. Very good bend, very good burst. I think he offers something as a mid-rounder, similar to guys like Max Crosby last year, who produced at Eastern Michigan, had an NFL level athletic profile, but you just weren't sure if it was going to happen in the NFL. That could be someone like Highsmith.
Man, that is a rags to riches story. Walk on at Charlotte to potential NFL draft pick. That's going to be exciting. That's going to do it for our pass rusher preview of the 2020 NFL Draft, all presented by Western and Southern. For more content like this, make sure to subscribe to PFF's YouTube channel or go to the site, pff.com.
You want to get rid of me and get back to more great PFF YouTube content? All you have to do is push that button right there and subscribe. Thanks for watching.